In a world where wealth and power were no longer measured by ambition or hard work alone, but instead determined by destiny, the concept of chosen ones had become an undeniable reality. These individuals, selected not by merit, bloodline, or chance, but by some mystical force beyond comprehension, were destined to inherit vast fortunes, sprawling kingdoms, and unimaginable influence. They were known as Kingdom Billionaires, rulers whose empires spanned continents, industries, and even dimensions. And today, 27-year-old Ethan Cole was about to find out that he was one of them. Ethan's life up until this point could best be described as ordinary. He worked as a junior analyst at a mid-tier financial firm in New York City, lived in a modest studio apartment filled with takeout containers and secondhand furniture, and spent most of his weekends playing video games or scrolling through social media. His biggest dream? To save enough money for a down payment on a house outside the city before he turned 40. But all of that changed on a cold Tuesday morning, when his phone buzzed with an unknown number flashing across the screen. "Hello?" Ethan answered groggily, still half asleep after staying up late binge-watching documentaries about obscure conspiracy theories. "Good morning, Mr. Cole," came a smooth, commanding voice from the other end. "My name is Lady Serafina Devereaux. I represent the Council of Ascension." Ethan blinked, momentarily confused. Sorry, what?" "You have been identified as the next Kingdom Billionaire," Lady Serafina continued without missing a beat. Her tone suggested she dealt with skepticism regularly. "Your ascension ceremony will take place within 72 hours. Please pack your belongings and prepare to leave immediately." There was a long pause. Ethan stared at the ceiling, wondering if this was some elaborate prank orchestrated by his friends, or worse, a telemarketing scam. "Look, ma'am, I think you've got the wrong guy. I'm just me, regular dude. No kingdom, no billions, definitely no crown." Lady Serafina chuckled softly, though there was an edge to it. "Mr. Cole, trust me, you are anything but just. You've been chosen by forces far greater than either of us can fully understand. Now I suggest you listen carefully because time is of the essence." She went on to explain everything, or at least as much as Ethan could comprehend in his sleep-deprived state. According to her, every few decades, the universe selected someone to inherit untold riches and responsibilities. This person would become the steward of a hidden kingdom, an entire civilization thriving in secret beneath the surface of modern society. The role required intelligence, adaptability, and above all, a willingness to embrace the unknown. Ethan hung up the call feeling equal parts terrified and exhilarated. Was this real? Could it possibly be true? And more importantly, did he even want any part of it? By Thursday evening, Ethan found himself standing in front of a sleek black car waiting outside his building. A chauffeur in a crisp suit greeted him with a nod and opened the door. Inside, Lady Serafina herself sat poised, dressed in an elegant gown that seemed to shimmer like liquid silver under the dim streetlights. "Welcome, Mr. Cole," she said with a faint smile. "I trust you're ready." I guess," Ethan replied weakly, clutching the duffel bag containing his hastily packed clothes. "So, where exactly are we going?" "To your kingdom, of course," she replied matter-of-factly. "It awaits beneath the earth, protected by centuries of secrecy and magic. Few outsiders ever see it, and fewer still survive long enough to rule it." The car sped off into the night, weaving through tunnels and highways until they reached a remote mountain range. There, hidden behind cascading waterfalls and ancient stone gates, lay the entrance to another world entirely. As Ethan stepped through the portal, a glowing archway pulsating with energy, he felt a strange sensation wash over him, as if the very fabric of reality was shifting around him. On the other side, he found himself in a breathtaking landscape, unlike anything he'd ever seen. Towering crystalline spires pierced the sky. Rivers of liquid light flowed between lush valleys, and cities made of golden glass stretched as far as the eye could see. "This," Ethan whispered, utterly awestruck. "This isn't possible. Oh, my dear boy." Lady Seraphina said with a knowing smirk. You haven't seen anything yet. Over the next several days, Ethan underwent a series of trials designed to test his worthiness as the new Kingdom Billionaire. Each challenge pushed him to his limits, physically, mentally, and emotionally. First, he faced the trial of courage, navigating a labyrinth infested with shadowy creatures that fed on fear. Armed with nothing but a torch and his wits, Ethan learned to confront his deepest insecurities and emerge victorious. Next came the trial of wisdom, where he solved intricate puzzles left behind by previous rulers. These riddles revealed fragments of the kingdom as history and taught him the delicate balance between progress and preservation. Finally, there was the trial of compassion, during which Ethan encountered citizens of the kingdom who had suffered under past leaders. Their stories forced him to grapple with questions of justice, fairness, and the weight of responsibility that came with such immense power. Through these trials, Ethan began to realize something profound. Being a Kingdom Billionaire wasn't just about wealth or authority. It was about serving others, protecting the vulnerable, and ensuring the prosperity of the realm for generations to come. On the eve of his coronation, Ethan stood atop the highest tower in the capital city, gazing out at the glittering expanse below. For so long, he'd felt lost, insignificant, trapped in a life that seemed to offer little meaning. But now, surrounded by beauty and wonder, he understood why he'd been chosen. The universe didn't pick people based on their current circumstances. It chose those who had the potential to grow, to change, to rise above themselves. And despite his doubts, Ethan knew he was capable of greatness. When the crown was finally placed upon his head, a delicate circlet forged from starlight and diamonds, he felt a surge of energy course through him. It was as if the kingdom itself had accepted him, merging its heartbeat with his own. "Rise, King Ethan," Lady Seraphina declared, her voice echoing throughout the grand hall. "Long may you reign." As Ethan settled into his role as the Kingdom Billionaire, he wasted no time implementing reforms to improve the lives of his subjects. He established trade agreements with neighboring realms, funded groundbreaking research in sustainable technology, and created programs to uplift marginalized communities. But perhaps most importantly, he remained humble, always remembering the ordinary life he'd left behind. In interviews with visiting dignitaries, he often joked, "If someone told me a year ago I'd be ruling a magical kingdom, I'd have laughed in their face." Yet here he was, a testament to the idea that sometimes the most extraordinary destinies belong to the most unlikely heroes. And so, the legend of Ethan Cole, the chosen one who became the next Kingdom Billionaire, spread far and wide, inspiring countless others to believe that greatness might be closer than they ever imagined.